Okay, part 2 here. Okay, so all I've done so far, foundation, primer, foundation, concealer, okay, and some setting powder. Now, eyes. Okay, you got the gorgeous palette 1. Okay, this is probably my most favorite go-to. I mean, I'm enjoying playing with lots of colors, but if I had to pick one palette for the rest of my life, forever, like a desert island palette, this would be it, okay? Because one, I mean, I just love browns on eyes, but I also can do other things with this, like my brows and some highlighting, and it's kind of multitasking, and I'm all about multitasking products. So let me show you. I put on a little bit of, when I did my primer, you can put a little bit of that over your eyes as well. We do have eye primer. That's it's you know, like the primer for your face, but it's got even a little bit more grip to it, a little more hold that you wouldn't necessarily want on your whole face. But it's great on your eyes because sometimes our eyelids can tend to be oily, and if they are, then when you put on eye makeup and you're blinking, any oil that's on your eyelid is kind of mixing with your eyeshadows, and when you're blinking, like you do 20,000 times a day, you really do, it's just shoving the product right into those creases, and that's how you're getting creases. When you apply eye primer, it kind of holds back that oil and doesn't let it mix with your makeup, and so your makeup looks fresher longer and you don't get the creases, or you know, it really keeps it looking as fresh and as long as possible. So that's a great tool. Also, the eye primer, because it's great at kind of oil control, if there's any oily places on your face, like if your nose, your chin, or your forehead, or tops of your cheeks tend to get oilier, that's also a great place to apply the eye primer, even though it's, you know, because it's designed to hold back oil. Little tip for you. Now, shadows. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, first of all, and you and I both have the same kind of hooded, heavier lids. Okay, that's where when you open your eye, you don't see your eye makeup, right? So I mean, right now I've got no eye makeup on. When you close your eye, you can feel the top of your eyeball. That's your crease. That's where your crease is. Okay. Now you may not, because your eyes closed, you can't see it. But when I open, I have like this little fleshier part here that just kind of comes right over my eyelid. That's just the shape of my eyes. That's, as we get older, this happens more. Some people are just given like deeper set eyes. You see their tops of their lids. They have more of a curve to them. It's just a different eye shape. There's not one that's good or better than another. They're just different, and it's what you get. So I too have the same type of eyelids. So when I'm applying my eyeshadow, I want to kind of play with the lights and darks. And this is a huge makeup concept, okay? More than colors, more than anything else. To understand this one concept, I think, is huge. Okay, so let me explain. You've got light and dark, like, white and black. And you've also got matte, no shine, and shimmer reflecting back at you, and varying degrees in between. Okay, some are satin finishes, some are glitter finishes, some are, metallics and things. They're varying degrees between no shine of a matte to, the ultimate shine of like glitter, I suppose, or metallic looking, where they really have a lot of reflective qualities. They're both great. You just need to know where you want to put each type of shadow, okay? Sometimes you want your shadow to pull back, that's where you want the matte. Sometimes you want it to go forward, that's where you want your shimmer, okay? So there's no, if you ever read anything that says women of a certain age or something should never wear shimmer, baloney. They just shouldn't wear it all over their eye. I don't think anybody should, but doesn't mean you can't wear shimmer, but you just need to be kind of specific and strategic about it, because shimmer is good. Playing with those, the recessed of the matte towards the coming forward of the shine, all good stuff. And it can really add a lot of dimension and interest to your features that you wouldn't necessarily have. So I'm gonna work on this one eye over here so you can kind of see the difference between what I'm starting with and where I get with this, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this chipper. This is a matte, kind of a medium brown, not real dark, not light, but a great color. And I'm going to take this liner shader brush, which is a brush that you got. And like I said, I would highly recommend getting, if you don't already have something like this fluffy, this is called a blending brush, okay? It just, so much of good eyeshadow application is based on how well you blend it, and this brush will do a lot of great work for you, okay? This one here, it can blend as well, but obviously it's a little denser, a little shorter, not quite as thick and fluffy, so it doesn't have quite the same blending capability. You can blend, but you're just gonna have to do more of the work, where this kind of makes shorter work of it. So we'll work on getting you one of these. Okay, so I'm going to take this little brush here, I'm just gonna pat it in there. Younique products are very highly pigmented, which is fantastic, because you're really, what you see, the color you see is the color you get. So you don't need to over apply. You can go in lightly, because really the goal is to get the look that you want using as little product as possible, okay? Because the less you have to use, you're not using it up as quickly, but also you just get a lighter, you don't need to put on as much makeup, which is always better. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go into this area that is my crease that I can feel, okay, which is right above my eyeball, and I'm just gonna put this color in there. See, it really kind of glommed on there. Don't worry about it looking like a mess there. Okay, we're gonna fix that. Okay, because what I'm gonna do is just kind of blend this, going in little swirly motions here. Okay, I'm gonna, you know what, I gotta use this blending brush. Now watch what this does. It just immediately softens that up. Now, you see how that just kind of like did that? I'd be here all day with this, just this one. But this one's fantastic. We're gonna use this for other stuff, okay? But this brush over here, now, because I've got the heavier eyelids, I want to take where my crease is, where I could feel the top of my eyeball. I actually wanna go up a little bit above that, okay? I'm kind of cheating where my crease is. By putting a dark matte color above my crease, when I open my eye, it's like, that looks like my crease. It's like giving some depth and dimension that you see when my eye is open, and not just when my eye is closed. So I'm actually just kind of taking this brush and doing like little swirly, windshield wiper motions. It's almost like I feel the top of my eye socket, and then the top of my eyeball, like where the bone is in my eye, like if I was brushing something underneath that, like if it was paint and I'm painting up inside my eye socket there. That's what I'm doing. I can feel it. I almost feel like I'm getting this on my eyebrow, but I'm not. Okay, and I'm just blending that out. Now, do you see, just by bringing that up a little bit, this is just one color. That's all I did was one color. Blending this up into the higher part of my crease, above my crease. It's actually looking more lifted and up higher than without it. See that color being in there, where this looks here, I'm seeing the light color, the flesh is like really coming forward, and over here it's like it's going back, right? You see that? Okay, and I can even take a little bit more and just go right up next to okay, so this is just basically, that's a huge part right there, just getting that light, that darker, and you even have these darker colors over here as well. These can be, you can play with, this one's got a little bit of shimmer in it, the one on the end, this is Zealous. Forthright is also a dark matte brown, okay? And you can add some little drama with that. You could do what I just did with the chipper with the Forthright, and that's just gonna give you an even deeper, darker, same kind of a look. This is a little more neutral, if you will, like say daytime, and this one, it would be doing the same thing, but just with a little bit even more drama. The darker, the more it's gonna go back. Okay, now, with these other colors here, this Sincere, this is a nice shimmer, okay? This is where I can take this this brush here. Okay, I just cleaned off the end. I just wiped it. I just have like a washcloth, dry washcloth, and I just use it to, you know, swirl on to kind of clean my brush. I just, you know, these are like, you know, Walmart, throw them in the washer. Okay, now take this color here, this Sincere, any of the lighter colors, and I'm just gonna go right up underneath my brow, just my brow line. Okay, just a little swipe, and you can see that little bit of shimmer just right up there is again bringing that brow bone forward. So it's kind of forward, then going back, and then I'm also going to take a little shimmer and to create over the curve of my eye, creating more of a curved look to my eye, and again bringing that forward. So I'm really like contouring my eyes into looking like they have more depth, more curve, more shape than they do without it. Okay, where they just kind of like disappear. This, I'm really highlighting my eyes in a just a subtle way. Okay. Now I love this color Brassy right here. Well, okay, first off, I'm gonna take this color Elated, which is a matte, like, you know, kind of cream color, and I'm just gonna go over my lid a little bit, kind of into that brown that I did, and I'm just gonna kind of pat that gently over. Not going up into the crease, but this is just a matte, so there's no shine. I just kind of want to even out the skin tone on my lid, just making it a little bit more even tone. Then I can take this color Brassy, which I love. Now also, especially for this front, you can use this with a dampened brush. And I'm going to take, okay, let me do it without dampening, and then I'll show you with it. I'm just going to take a little bit of this, pat that in there, and I'm going to go over kind of towards the inside of my eye to the middle. Okay, I'm not going up in the crease. I'm keeping shimmer out of there, like where I put this brown color. I want that to stay matte and dark and going back. I want this brassy color to be right here, and I'm just patting it in. You don't need to get in there and swiping it, because it's gonna, you know, I'm gonna get the shimmer, but I'm just gonna pat it on there. Okay, and if I have eye primer on there, it's gonna really stick to that. Okay, and you can see that little bit of shimmer there just kind of added a little interest, a little curve, a little dimension to that part right over my eye. So I've got the little shimmer, the matte going back, and then the little bit of shimmer coming forward. Okay, now you can also take this liner shader end of this brush, and usually the color that I go into the crease with is the same color, and I just kind of pat it straight on, like onto the edge, you know, to the edge of the brush. Just dab it in there, and just kind of go underneath my eye like eyeliner. Okay, and I love using these powders as eyeliner because I think they're softer. They have a softer look. I love eye pencils too, and you can smudge them a little bit. You can put it on there, and you could take a brush like this and give it a little smudge. Our Younique eye pencils are designed to, you know, go on smoothly. They're always soft and not super pointed, so that you get a soft application, and then you have time to smudge it either with, you know, with a brush. And then once it sets, it's not coming off. I mean, not rubbing off. It gives you time to smudge, and then it doesn't budge. Hey, how's that? So I'm just going to put this under here like this. And I'm kind of going not all the way across my eye, maybe no more than like, you know, like half, a little more than half. And I just want it to kind of shear out to nothing. I don't want it to be like a hard start-stop. Then you can take this end over here and just kind of give it a soft little rub there, pushing it back, and that's kind of giving a little definition to your eye, just softly. Okay, so this is a great daytime look. Okay, so you can, and then let me show you wet. So what I can do, I just took this little cap, put a little water in there, just dampen the brush, and when you do that, it doesn't have to be wet, but just damp, and you pat that into it. Almost it takes on almost like a creamy, and it feels nice and cool, but it really gives a much more intensified, you know, just a like a almost just a thicker, I don't know what's the word I want, application to where it doesn't, once it dries and sets, you can see it like a foil. They call it a foil finish, where it just looks like, you know, pure metallic on there. That's a great nighttime trick if you want to just highlight this center part of your eye, like right over your eyeball, okay, right over your iris, looking straight ahead, and just let that dry, and it's going to stay put. So it's not powdery, it's not, you know, getting blended out. So you're just gonna let that dry, and then it will stay put. But it definitely has a deeper, more intense finish by dampening the brush, and you can do that with any of the colors. And then once you let it dry, you can take a dry brush and kind of blend it if you want. But sometimes for this middle part of my eye, I just like to gently let that dry like that, and so it gives like a perfect, but you can see it gives much more dimension to my overall eyelid compared to what's going on over here, right? I didn't even put on any mascara. I've not done my brows, but you can see what a difference. It's almost like giving yourself an eye lift, okay? So now, so that's the eyeshadow. And then, so then, like, let's say you did this for the daytime. So let's say, okay, you didn't do the, like, you know, you didn't do it damp. It just was like the plain little bit of shimmer. And let's say you want to jazz it up for nighttime. Okay, you can come over here with this. Now my brush is a little damp, so it's gonna kind of wanna, okay. You can come over here to like one of these darker colors and just go right into the corner over here. And this is, you do this, it's almost like a backward 7. It's in like this little V out here. That's what we call the outer V, which is into your crease, just say below your crease, over your lid. So it's kind of doing this little V shape, like a backward 7 kind of a thing, right? And you're just kind of adding a little bit of extra dark into that area of your eye. And then I'm going to take this blending brush. Now I want to go easy because I don't want to get it all mixed into the little shimmer thing I did there. Typically the shimmer thing I would do at the end, sort of like the, you know, tinsel on the tree there. Okay, but I'm just going to kind of blend that out a little bit. But I'm just adding a little of extra depth into the outer corners of my eye. And again, this is kind of like a nighttime little extra zhuzh, you know. Just want to again play up more into that darker crease area. You can see, but can you see what this is doing? Just having this extra, having these principles playing out where you got the dark recessing matte and then the shimmer coming forward and the light and dark, how it's creating such shape and lift to my eye, and all it is just this, you know, and a little bit of just placement, playing with those lights and darks. I just think that's huge, and it really applies to everything else in makeup, whether it's how you apply your cheek color to your lip color, you know, lighter shimmery is going to come forward, dark's going to come back. I mean, and you can do so much playing with those ideas. Same thing with your cheeks, and you have great cheekbones where you have, you know, a little bit of contour and you put a little shimmer up here, your cheekbones are coming forward, that, you know, it's all good stuff, okay? So now, so that's some basics with the eye. Now, eyebrows. That's what I was gonna do. You could probably do this as well, and I think that, you know, going to get your eyes shaped, I think we talked about this and you said you haven't done that. It's super easy. I've been going to threading places. You can have them waxed, you can have them threading, where they literally take this these, you know, wound up thread, and they're like grabbing hairs and they just get them out. It's nothing painful. Your brows kind of have a shape that they want to be in. It's like a natural shape that they want to follow. And so somebody who's, you know, good at doing this, they can kind of see what the shape of your brows. And so they're just giving you a little bit more of an arch, just kind of shaping them that way, getting rid of all the little stray hairs that are growing there, and just give some shape and definition. They don't have to be anything extreme, just cleaned up nice and neat. And I think having that done is a big thing. You know, you go maybe, you know, once every, you know, 4 to 6 weeks or so, or just depending on how often you feel. And I will, in between going, kind of pull my own strays out, but I will go maybe once a month or every 6 weeks to get them done, and then I just keep them that way until I need to go again. But I will go back into this chipper color, and in my brows, you can see, like, your brows, everyone, you know, your brows grow in their own way, and so you kind of want to go in the direction that the hair grows and just kind of fill it. For me, like right here in the front, my brow hairs kind of grow straight up, and so I kind of just go in that same direction, and I just make short little hair-like strokes, adding color to just give a little more depth and dimension to my brows, okay? And they're just going to, that powder is actually sticking to my skin, not necessarily the brows themselves, but I'm just giving a little more definition. This is a brow pencil, which I love, and this is another option for doing brows. It also has this little spoolie end on it, which I love, and you can use this to kind of brush up the hairs. I'm showing you using the palette because I know you have that, and you have this brush, so you could do your brows with this, just filling it in softly, and just, you know, if you feel like you need to go a little bit farther or go up a little bit higher, you know, you can just add a little color to your brows, and you can see this brow, how defined it is compared to this one. And when they're both done, it just creates, see how it makes you just look up. Your eye, your whole eye area looks more opened up compared to this side. Got this side. Okay, I know it looks funny having one done, but it's really pretty simple to when you have them both and you put on the mascara, it's like, I'm telling you, it's like crown molding for your face. It just opens it up. You notice the eye. I always say if your brows are done right, you notice everything else, okay? If your brows are over, you know, just too exaggerated, like real squared off and everything, everybody's got their style and their way, and that's all fine. But to me, it's distracting. I notice the brows too much. I just want them to do the, you know, they're there, framing the face. They're not the thing, okay? So you can see how it just changes and gives perspective and composition. That's the word I'm always looking for with brows. It just gives composition to your face. Okay, so now mascara.